Hello, children. Today we actually revise our concept of conditional statement, which you have been learning in the past 2 months in your classes. And we try to quickly revise what all we have learned. How do we actually implement conditional statement? What is the meaning? What are the rules applicable in Python in order to write these conditional statements? Okay. And we just check out a few programs also. It's just like a quick revision tour for you. Okay, so let's start. Now, basically, the meaning of conditional statement is that how do I actually specify conditions? Okay, that I don't want to execute all sets of my statements in a program. I want to do it depending upon a particular condition. If this is true, then you do this. If this is false, then execute this part. Like this, if I want to implement in a particular program, I go for these conditional statements. Okay. Now, what are these conditional statements comprising of? They are basically comprising of expressions, statements containing these operators. What are these operators actually called? These operators are called as relational or comparison operators. You've heard about mathematical operators, plus, minus, multiplication, division. Okay. The relational or comparison operators are actually these, where you check or compare data. Is it equal to a value? Is it not equal to a value? Is it greater than a value? Is it less than a value? Is it greater than or equal to a value? Is it less than or equal to a value? Okay. So these are the operators, also called as relational operators or comparison operators, because they are actually being used for comparing two data values. Like here in the example, you can see that I'm comparing the value of A with the value of B. I hope you understand that A and B are nothing but variables, right? So, what is the content of A and what is the content of B? If I want to compare, then I'm using these relational or comparison operators. Okay. Now, these operators, you need to know that they always result in a true or false. They are never going to result in a proper value. Like if I say 3 plus 4, your answer is a value 7. But when I'm using a relational operators like these, either of these, your answer is always in a true or false. In order to check that, let me just open the ideally and let us try out with a few values. I'm saying A is equal to 10. Rather, I should say A assigned the value 10. B, another variable, assigned the value 20. Right? I'm doing that in the shell of Python 3.8. Now here if I say A greater than B, this is a conditional statement actually. It is using the conditional operator, comparison operator, relational operator as we say, greater than, right? So what answer will I get in this? I'll get an answer true or false based on these operators. But I will never get a true or false if I use any of the mathematical operators. I'll get a proper answer. Okay. So that's the meaning when I say that these return either a true or a false. Okay. Here we have to remember that if we want to compare the two values, whether they're equal or not, I will actually use a double equal to instead of a single equal to, because single equal to means here assignment, assigning of the value. So for comparison, I'll never use single equal to, but use double equal to. Okay. So when I do this, he will say, sorry, it's false because the value of A is not equal to the value of B. Okay. When I want to use a not equal to, I want to check is the value not equal to the other value. So here if I am saying A is not equal to B, not is nothing but the exclamatory sign followed by equal to sign, and then I use it in my expression. Here it will be true because A is not equal to B. It's a true fact. Okay. So this is how the relational operators work. Now, when I use these relational operators in my expression, in a statement, and then I want to use it in a program, I actually am talking about conditional statements. And that is implemented in Python using if. Okay, so if is a statement which I would say a keyword, a word which I use in English also very often. If I get up early in the morning, I'll go to exercise. I will go for exercising. If I get pizza today, then I will do my homework properly. Right? We keep on using if every now and then in our day to day lives also. The meaning here also is same, just the way you use it in your daily life. If a condition is true, if the condition is evaluating to true, when will a condition evaluate to true? We have seen here that sometimes my condition will evaluate to false, sometimes my condition will evaluate to true, depending upon what are you checking and what are the values, right? So if a condition is evaluating to true, what condition you have given, in that case, please execute a particular set of statements. Otherwise, which I say as else, execute a particular set of statements. Okay, so this is a kind of thing which I am able to implement using if statement in Python. Okay, so that is why we say here the definition of if statement says that it is a conditional statement that tests a particular condition. If the condition is true, it is going to carry out one section of statements just written below if, or else if the condition is false, in that case it will execute the statements written below else. Okay, this statement is also called as decision making statement. So anytime you're asked a question, dash is a decision making statement in Python, you will say if statement. If statement is containing or contains what? Relational or comparison operators. I will use these expressions with if. If A is equal to B, then do this, else do something else. Okay. So coming to the syntax or the format of if else structure, it is if minded small letters, half circle bracket, opening half circle bracket close. That's not compulsory. You want to give, you can, or else you might avoid. Then I give the condition, whatever condition is which I want to check, followed by a colon. This is very important. Colon, if you forget, it becomes an error. Brackets, if you forget, it is not an error. But yes, if you open, you have to close, right? After colon, when you press enter, automatically the cursor will come at an indented position. It will not take you to the beginning of the line. It will take you somewhere little bit inside. We'll just do a question and check out. This is called a little indented position. Okay. So whatever you write in this indent, one below the other, all the statements written one below the other in that particular area, they all will be executed if the condition is true. Then if you come out of the indent, at the beginning of the line, you write else, ELSE colon. Again, colon is very important. And then below that, you will be writing in the indented position the statements, the Python statements, what you want to execute if the condition is false. Which condition? The condition which I have given here at the beginning. Okay. Now let us check some examples. Now here we see that marks is a container, a variable in Python, which is storing some data. I'm not written the code where you're accepting the data or calculating the data in marks. We are assuming that as of now. Okay. So if the marks value is greater than or equal to 40, and we all understand this condition because we all have been studying in school all these years and we understand the pass fail criteria. If you are obtaining marks which is more than or equal to 40, you print or you get a result sheet saying you pass. Otherwise, you get a result sheet which says fail. Okay. Now, what you need to do if the condition is true and what you need to do if the condition is false completely depends upon the program you're writing. You have to judge the program, read the program, understand the program, and decide what do I need to do if this condition is true. What do I need to do if this condition is false, and accordingly write it. It can be simple print statement, it can be some kind of a calculation, it can be multiple print statements, whatever. That all depends upon the program you're doing. Okay. Now, few things we have to be careful about: the colon, the indent where you are writing this, colon in front of else, the indent where you're writing the else based statement. Else part is executed when the condition is false. Whatever written just below if statement is executed if the condition is true. Both if statement and else statement are not supposed to be in capital letters. Okay? These are the points you have to remember, because if a code is given to you for judging that what all are the errors in that, these are the common areas where you will find the errors. Okay? Now we have our first program here to work out. It says print the greater number out of the two numbers. Now, very simple code. Obviously, you have to accept two numbers and then check that which one is bigger number, right? So I will write this code in front of you in order to make you understand how this indent has to be taken care of. Rest, I think you understand as to how to accept input and do all that. But let's do the indent part, because that you're doing for the first time. Okay. So obviously we accept two numbers in this case. So I'm just storing the data in A and B itself. A eval, you can obviously use int function also, float function also, depending upon what input you want, what kind of input you want. Input, enter first number. Right? I hope you're very clear with the brackets we are using, y2, y3. By now you're all aware of all this. Enter second number. These are statements which will be displayed when you are going to accept the input. Okay. Now, I have one value stored in the memory by the name A and another value stored in the memory of the computer by the name B. I have to check and display which one is the bigger number. Okay. So I hope the condition is very clear. I have to check whether A is more than B or vice versa, whatever you want to check. How do I write that? If A greater than B colon, okay, writing of this bracket and this bracket, opening closing, is not compulsory. I told you just a few seconds back, right? So you can avoid, you can write. I am as of now not writing. Now just notice this: the moment you press enter after putting the colon, you get your cursor blinking at a point which is not at the corner of your writing area, beginning of the line basically. Okay, so this is how it is automatically coming as indented. This will not happen if you do not put the colon and press enter. See that? It will not happen. Okay, so you have to put a colon, then it will automatically take you to the place where you're supposed to write what you want to write. So if the condition is true, what I want to write, that A is bigger. So print, we say the first number, obviously the user doesn't understand what is A. So I say first number is bigger. Okay. Now whatever you keep on writing, suppose I write print hello or bye, the indent will be at that place itself. So all these statements, whatever you want to write one below the other, automatically will come and will execute if the condition is true. But now I want to write something, what I want to do if the condition is false. Okay. So for that I press enter and then I press a backspace to take my cursor just below if. Your else has to be just below the if for which you are writing. Okay. So else ELSE colon, again after colon when you will press enter, now this block will start for the else part. So else print second number, because obviously the first condition, if it is false, so the second number is bigger. Second number is bigger. Okay. I am really not interested in writing a bye or a welcome, whatever, but I just want to show you there. Okay. So I just want to save this file by maybe the name test111. Okay. And then I execute. So it says enter the first number 56, enter the second number 89. So to show me second number is bigger. Okay. For the else part, so how did it actually work? A becomes 56, B becomes 89. Is 56 bigger than 89? No. So it jumps to else part. Please understand this carefully. Because this condition is true, 56 is not greater than 89, it jumps to the else part directly. Okay? And what does it execute? Whatever written below else. So this line is only executed and you get this output. Right? Now what happens if I am actually giving the other way around? That is, first number is bigger. Let's test for that also. So I run the code again, enter the first number, suppose 67, 10. So in this case, my first number is bigger. Okay. First number is bigger and it gets me a buy. Okay, and there's this extra space, a funny thing. Let's see what I've done in my code. So here you can see A gets the value as, let me just have both the things in front of you so that you understand better. So A gets the value 67, B gets the value 10. Now is A, which is 67, is it more than B? Yes. If it is yes, that is true. Where will it go? The control of the program will come directly to the line following the if statement. This is the if statement. This is the else statement. If the condition is true, the control of the program goes to the point written just below the if statement, following the if statement. That's what we say. So it writes print first number is bigger. You can see I've given extra space by mistake. That is what it is showing here. Followed by print by. So you get a by also. And then else part is not executed and the program ends. Okay. So what you have to understand here is either the else part is executed or the if part is executed, depending upon the condition. If the condition is true, if the condition evaluates to true, as we say, then this part is executed. If the condition evaluates to false, then it directly jumps to the else part and executes the things written below the else statement. Okay, children, I hope it is clear to you. The basic meaning of the working of the if thing is clear to you. After that, you had in your classes few questions given. We had actually given some tasks to you too, and I think most of you have done that. These are some solved tasks. Okay, the first one you've already done. If I quickly explain a few more to you, it says take a number, check whether the given number is positive or negative. So I accept a number. Now my condition for checking the number whether positive or negative, this is something you have to judge. That what do you write? You cannot write if AIS is POSITIV. No, you will not write the condition right. You will think that what expression do I create in order to check this kind of a thing. So for positive and negativity, what happens? If the number is more than 0, it's positive. If the number is less than 0, it is negative. Hence, we talk about this condition. If A, which I have taken up the input in A, so the value of A is more than or equal to 0, then I print, the value comes here also, and I concatenate is a positive integer, a number, that statement. Otherwise, that is if this condition is false, means A is less than 0. So directly jumps here and displays the data as A is a negative number. Okay, going little further, we try to check whether a year is a leap year or not, though it's not a very correct logic, but keeping it very simple, we have tried to give you the example as if the number gets divided by 4, then it is a leap year, otherwise it is not. Now, in this case, you have to use a little bit of your brains, you have to recollect what you have studied. How do I check whether a number is divisible by a number or not? In Python, we do that using the percentage operator, because when I use this within two numbers to divide, it is giving me the remainder instead of quotient. Let me quickly show you that. So if I say 30 divided by 3, so this is my quotient. Now 30 modulus 3, this is my remainder. Okay, so that is what I am checking here, that if the number modulus, this is called as modulus operator, 4 is equal to 0, the value is 0, it is a leap year, otherwise not. Right? So then you were given some questions where it was checking whether the temperature is, if it is more than 30 degrees, it is hot, otherwise it is cold. Right? So you just had to accept the temperature in a variable, say that if the T is more than 30, print hot, else print cold. Right? And one more question was there talking about accept 3 angles of triangle, check whether it forms a triangle or not. Let us do this question because I found that few children found this question a little difficult. Now there's a rule that if you are given 3 angles of a triangle and all the angles sum up to a 180 degrees, 180 value, then only you can form a triangle out of those angles. Right? So I just had to check whether the total of the 3 angled values what the user gives me comes out to be 180 or not. That's the rule which I'll check here. Let's do that. So obviously I'll accept 3 values from him as 3 angles. So int put, oh, sorry, enter first angle without any degree, without anything symbol like that, you have to enter. Now I just copy paste to accept the other two also, but I have to be careful that I change a few things if I copy paste. What? That is the 3 variables A, B, C, and this goes as second angle and this goes as third angle. Right? Now I have to check if A plus B plus C is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, then don't forget the colon please. Then print triangle possible. Otherwise, so otherwise becomes nothing but your else, but not at this place. You have to go back and then write else. Just be sure that your else comes below if, whereas the statements to be executed come little inside. It is called as indented position. So print triangle not possible. Triangle not possible. Okay. So I save it. I'm just using the same name I used last time, test 11. Okay, my test 11 is also open, I think. Okay, so now enter first angle, suppose 23, 45, 34. Triangle not possible. Okay, so that is how we will be working. Right? I hope, children, that this video will help you understand the concept properly. and whatever doubts you have had now must have been removed. Okay, so all the best and thank you.